Hi, Commander Galactic Bacon here, and welcome to my channel. My video today is going to be the first part in an Elite Dangerous mining guide for beginners. And in today's video, I'm going to do a walkthrough on how to equip your ship for mining. I plan to do most of the basics of mining in a hauler. So if you've been following my video series for beginners recently, you'll know I started off in the Sidewinder, I've moved on to the hauler. So I'm trying to do this whole video series in sort of the type of ships that people are more likely to fly when they're starting off in Elite Dangerous. So you don't need a large ship in order to start mining, and that's what I hope to demonstrate today. I do plan some additional tutorials for more advanced mining and will include some loadouts for larger ships later on. If you click on the subscribe button below, you will be able to get future videos for this little mining series as well. If you're already familiar with mining loadouts and this video, you're way beyond this video, you may want to check out my next video in the series. You'll be able to find that in the description below or at the end of this video, or check out the link in the top right, which will appear now. Okay, so first thing we're going to do, we need to find which type of stations are going to have the kind of gear that we need to start mining. And there are 4 main modules that you're going to need in order to start mining. So what I would suggest is, this is the easy way to do it, is that you use a tool called eddb.io. It's a website. If you look that up, if you haven't used it before, I have it open at the moment. And what you do with this tool, it really is a really helpful tool that goes along side. It works well alongside Elite Dangerous. If you go to stations at the top, and what we're going to do, first of all, I'm going to put in my reference system, which, swap back to my screen, is ASGE system. So that's what I'm going to type in. ASGE, is it? Hold on. There's 2 A's in it. That's why. ASGE, that one. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to select some modules. There are 4 modules you're going to need to do mining. One is a mining laser. So just start typing mining laser. I'm going to pick a fixed laser. I'll explain why. I'm just going to go for basic gear at the moment. That's all I'm looking for just now. We're also going to need something called a refinery. I'm going to pick the basic one. We're also going to need a couple of modules which use limpets. So one is called a prospector limpet. There's also a collector limpet. I'll explain what these do later on. All you have to do is type these in. Prospector limpet controller. So we want one of those. And we want a collector. Can't spell. Collector limpet controller as well. So we've got these 4 modules, and then what we do is we click on find stations, and it will take your reference station and then find all the stations nearby which have this type of module. Now there's one other thing that we need to do so that we don't have to go flying about for some other things that we need. One of the facilities we need is restock. The reason for that is where we will buy our limpets for using for mining. So there's 5 items you're going to need, and this is just the easy way to find these. So I'll do another find, and it will come up with another list of stations. You'll notice there these stations changed because there were some that had the gear that we need, but they didn't have a restock facility, so that's quite important. So the nearest one to me is Solovyev hub, which, if I swap back to my screen, my game is actually where I am just now. So just save time, I've actually flown to this place already. So you're going to go, once you find the station that has all the equipment and facilities you're going to need, go to Starport Services, and we're going to Outfitting. Now, assuming if you're starting off in this game, you maybe have a small ship, you could have a sidewinder, you could have a hauler. You can technically mine in any kind of ship. It's just the smaller the ship, things are going to be more restricted. You may not actually be able to carry all the equipment that I'm going to show you today, but there are ways around that. But you can do some basic mining in a ship, such as a hauler, a cobra, other sorts of smaller ships in the game. An adder is going to work fine as well. So first things first, hard points. You want your mining laser. You're going to equip that in your main slot. I just happen to have size 1 slot, so I'm fairly restricted in what I can put in there. So if you're browsing the shop, you will find that under mining tools, and then you have your lasers. Don't bother with all these other things, abrasion blasters, etc. just now. All you want is a basic mining laser. Okay. We'll go back, and then we're going to go to optional internals. Now, on this ship, previously I had some different equipment in here. I've swapped some things out. So to begin with, I only had 4 capacity cargo, and it's quite important that you have as much cargo space as possible. So I have this 2E cargo rack. I've just bought a 3E cargo rack to give me an extra capacity, an extra 8. And I just noticed that I have a 2E cargo rack here, so I'm going to swap that out for something a bit bigger. I can get 3E, and because I don't have a lot of cash, I'm going to exchange this and get a little bit of money back. So I've now increased my total capacity to 16. Okay, so I think previously, I'm trying to remember what module I had in place here. Yeah, it was a fuel scoop. So I've got rid of my fuel scoop, my 3E fuel scoop. Unfortunately, you will have to sacrifice some modules in order to do this. And you will have to decide, depending on what kind of ship you have, what you're prepared to sacrifice. So I get rid of my fuel scoop. In the size 2 slot, I have put my refinery. Okay, and we find that under, where are we? Refineries, there you go. So you have your various size refineries. The difference between the different types of refineries, the bin count will the higher the bin count, the faster you'll be able to process stuff. So I have a 2E, I could have a bin count of 2. If I had more cash, I would probably upgrade that, but so you have to make a judgment on that. If you have the cash to spare, certainly, you know, get a better refinery. It will speed things up. Okay, next item that we are going to need is prospector limpet. Now, trying to think what I stored here. Can't remember what it was. Yeah, never mind. Well, you will notice that I think that was actually a spare, an empty slot. So I put the prospector limpet controller in there, and you will find that under prospecting limpets. Okay. So a number of different ones on offer. The difference between these are really down to the range, and also watch the weight as well. If you use a heavier one, it will restrict your jump range. So I have a 1D, which gives me an active range of 4,000 meters. Okay, and then I have a collector limpet controller. Now I think I swapped out the docking computer. So if you're in a small ship and you really want to do mining, you're probably going to have to ditch the docking computer. So you better practice manual docking if you want to do this in a small ship. In a larger ship, you can probably get away with keeping a lot of your basic equipment, but you know, with this particular ship, it's something I've had to get rid of. So you have your collector limpets. Similar to the prospecting limpets, you get a different range depending on what module you employ, and also there are differences in weight as well, and that will change your jump range. Okay, next thing we're going to do is, if you go over to your HUD panel, if you hit number 4, it's your right hand panel. We'll have to come out of this, and we're going to go over to fire groups. So when you install new equipment, the game will prompt you to update your fire groups. So what I have done, it's really up to you how you do this. It's what's more convenient for you. So because I've got various scanners here as well, what I have done is I have put my mining laser is my number 1 module, and on that same group I have the collector limpet. The reason I put those on the same group is because when you come to mine, you may find that grouping just a little bit more convenient. You're swapping over perhaps less often. You know, you may use the prospector limpet initially just to kind of find out the contents of an asteroid, a piece of rock, and then you will probably go between the mining laser and the collector limpet more often. It's up to you how you do that. I mean, you could put the 2 limpet controllers on the one group. It's neither here nor there. Okay, so before we're actually equipped to mine, there's one other thing that we need to do, and you may remember me saying that we would need a restock facility available at the station. Now you'll notice that under the quick maintenance window, it says restock all, and that icon is for weapons, it's not allowing me to do anything. I never quite understood why this works this way, that you actually have to go down to advanced maintenance to get your limpets. I don't know why it doesn't allow you to access this from this main menu, but anyway, so go to advanced and then you will find restock, and under restock, if you have the limpet controller installed, you will be able to purchase limpets. Now, because I have added to my cargo bay, it means I can actually buy a few more of these. And I want to leave just a little bit of room for the first items I start to mine, because they will go in your cargo bay. And you'll also need to leave a little bit of room for, you know, all the materials you're going to collect as you mine. What will happen is, as you use the limpets, as you're using them for mining, they will expire and they won't return back to your ship again. So, I mean, these are basically like little drones that go out from your ship, and they do various jobs in helping you collect the materials from the asteroid. But as they expire, they basically become useless, and that will leave room for more materials in your cargo bay. You'll understand this once we come to do some actual mining later. So I'm going to increase that to 12, and I'm going to confirm that. Whoops. Yeah. So if I go to my right hand panel, my inventory, you will see the limpets are there. It's worth double checking that before you leave the station. Just make sure that you have your limpets. But a number of times before where I've gone on a mining expedition, left the station, got my ship all equipped, and then to get to my destination to discover I've forgotten the limpets. So don't make that mistake. Double check before you leave the station. One other thing to check under... Where are we? Yeah, we'll go back to outfitting just for a minute. If you see your power restrictions, your retracted and deployed power at the bottom of your screen, it's worth checking. Just because you're using a mining laser, if you stick a big beefy mining laser and the higher rated equipment on your ship, you just need to be careful that you've not overloaded your power plant. I think I've maxed out my power plant on this ship, so I've got plenty of capacity. Just something worth checking before you leave. Okay, so that's pretty much what you have to do in order to equip a small ship for mining. I'm not going to do the mining in this video. I'm going to do that in a separate video for today. I think today's probably been long enough. But if you look out for the next video in the series, it'll appear at the end of this video. I'll also put a link in the description. And if you check the top right hand corner now, once the video comes live, it will appear here in the top right now. If you're just starting out in Elite Dangerous and looking for some guidance, you should also check out my Beginner's Guide playlist. And if you would like to be notified about future videos, please subscribe and click the bell icon below. Check out the description below also for other videos. I'm going to do that.